Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So I did this kind of a sketchy, painterly kind of a situation, and I used some of my own collage. I used my left hand to do my initial sketch, and then I thought, I really want to use oil pastels. I feel like it's going to be the icing on the cake, and I am going to use my non-dominant hand for some of my oil pastel use. So we're just going to see where this goes. I am using my favorite blue, which is an ultramarine, and I'm just going to make some juicy lines and marks. And basically this is like an experiment. I'm not too worried about how it's going to turn out. I'm not really stressing about it, and I think that's partly because when I'm using my non-dominant hand, I'm really not expecting like a whole lot in terms of I need this to be a certain way and whatever. And normally that's kind of how I try to work anyways, but it's just more apparent when I'm using my non-dominant hand because for obvious reasons, my motor skills are not that good on the hand that I don't use all the time. And so that frees me up and it allows me to be more looser, creative, curious, playful, and just not stressed about anything. Now, usually I always feel that when you're buying art supplies, it's better to have less art supplies but of a higher quality. So just say like you're going to be buying watercolor paints, and I'm just using this as an example. For me, it's better to have 3 watercolor paints that are really expensive rather than, a whole set of them that's really cheap. But when it comes to oil pastels, that's the only art supply that I say, you know what, go for a cheaper set as well. And the reason why is because I don't always want a juicy, luscious, thick, creamy mark like, say, a sennelier. Like sometimes I want a hard edge. Sometimes I want a scratchy, low quality kind of a mark. So when it comes to oil pastels, I like to have different grades. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna kind of bring my orange here, my reddish orange. Ooh, I love that. I really love that. I mean, I'm gonna bring it up closer to the camera. Like, look at that. Oh, I love that. It's so beautiful. Now the 2 sets I'm using, I have this Caran d'Ache, I believe. Yeah, it's Caran d'Ache. And I have this one, and it's MY UNGO, I believe. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'll leave it in the description below, but I do believe that's what it's called. And I'm gonna bring some of that in here. And just look how much dimension the oil pastels brings. Let me see here. I'm gonna bring some of this in here. And these ladies have blue hair, which I love. They're just blue-haired ladies. They've got some sass and pizzazz. Now it is a bit difficult to work on, like, this lady is spread out over 2 pages, and it's kind of a little bit difficult with oil pastels as opposed to paint, but we're gonna make it work here. And this brown paper is from a paper bag, actually, from a gift shop. I purchased it like last year, and I keep all my bags. And see this brown paper here? It is such a beautiful grade of brown paper, and it's got this turquoise handwriting on it. And I save all of those things for collage. And I'm gonna put that right over top of the brown paper, some of the brown paper anyways. I'm gonna let some of it show. And I'm just gonna make some kind of marks here because I want to put some energy into the page. And that's another thing about oil pastels is you can make like so many marks and scribbles, and it just infuses the whole piece with like energy. Really good mark making. And now the Caran d'Ache is, I would classify it as a mid-grade to a high grade. It's not as creamy as the Senneliers, but it is a lot more creamier than the cheaper brands. And let me see here. I think I'm going to bring some of this yellow in here. Well, you guys, that was like really satisfying, and it didn't take me like really long to do it, but I just feel like it really kind of, you know, gave it that kind of like the icing on the cake, you know? And I'm just gonna make some marks here. Well, you guys, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.